The last vestiges of daylight bled into the horizon, casting long, fractured shadows across the snow-capped peaks of the Mont Blanc Massif. Inside the cockpit of Air India Flight 101, the Kanchenjunga, a low hum of anticipation mixed with the steady drone of the Boeing 707's engines. Captain de Clastaza, a veteran pilot with thousands of hours under his belt, adjusted his headset. Beside him, First Officer S.M. Singh went over the checklist for descent with great care. Geneva approach, Air India 101 beginning. Our descent to Diz's voice crackled over the radio, calm and assured. The controller replied with a slight accent, Air India 101. Cleared to descend to 6,000 meters. So far, the flight had been routine. The final leg from Bombay to London was typically simple, with stops in Beirut and Geneva. However, the approach to Geneva required absolute precision, particularly in the winter. The mountainous terrain was unforgiving, a silent predator waiting for the slightest misstep. Are we clear of Mont Blanc? Co-pilot Zouza asked, his eyes scanning the instruments, then peering out into the swirling mist, searching for a break in the clouds. Singh responded, slightly furrowing his brow as he double-checked his calculations. Based on our last fix, we should be past it, Captain. There was a nagging doubt, a tiny discordant note in the symphony of their instruments. They were relying on dead reckoning, a method that, while generally reliable, was inherently less precise than modern navigation aids, especially in such challenging terrain. The thought of an instrument error, a subtly miscalibrated bearing, flickered through Singh's mind. The Kanchenjunga was a magnificent aircraft, a symbol of Air India's growing international presence. They had benefited from it, but even the most advanced technology of the time could not overcome human error or the raw power of nature. Over the engine noise, a faintly audible warning bell rang. It was a proximity alert, a faint whisper that something was amiss. Zouza instinctively pulled back on the yoke, a sudden, urgent instinct overriding his calculated approach. We're too low, he muttered, his voice sharp with dawning realization. Pull up, pull up. The aircraft responded, its powerful engines straining against the pull of gravity. But it was too late. With terrifying speed, the mountain, once an unseen threat, emerged from the swirling mist. Instead of a gentle slope, it was a sheer, impervious wall of ice and rock. A monstrous roar that ripped through the fuselage was heard deafeningly, followed by a sickening lurch. In the blink of an eye, the elegant Boeing 707 became a tortured beast, breaking apart against the uncompromising granite. The sickening crunch of metal, the shattering of glass, and the screams of the passengers were swallowed by the echoing boom that reverberated across the pristine silence of the Alps. The Kanchenjunga slammed into Mont Blanc, had an elevation of approximately 15,777 feet, 4,808 meters. It was a controlled flight into terrain, a paradoxically tragic term for an aircraft operating perfectly, yet guided by flawed information into its doom. The plane disintegrated on impact, scattering debris, personal belongings, and human remains across the glacier. Covered slope near the Rocher de la Tournette, silence, profound and absolute, descended upon the mountain. The echoes of the crash faded, replaced by the gentle whisper of the wind carrying fresh snow to cover the gruesome scene. No survivors. 117 souls, including Dr. Homi Jahangir Babha, vanished in an instant, their lives extinguished against the unforgiving rock. Mont Blanc kept its secrets for decades. The unforgiving ice and snow slowly enveloped the wreckage, a silent tomb for the lost. But glaciers, like slow-moving rivers, never truly hold on to their burdens forever. As the climate warmed and the ice receded, Mont Blanc began to surrender its grim treasures. One of the deadliest aviation accidents in French territory was the demise of Air India Flight 101, but its legacy extends beyond the grim statistics.